That's going to be when they finally build that. That's going to be the final piece in the puzzle. He's going to have to find that perfect opponent to be in the ring with. So I'm in no hurry really for that to happen.
And with Bray, they can do a lot of things that they used to do with Kane years ago. Like Bray can come up through the ring and pull somebody under, or he can be under the ring and somebody's on the outside and they get pulled under. You know, like that movie Drag Me to Hell. There's so many cool, creepy things you can do with Bray and the entire locker room. It really should be nobody is safe. The entire lot, they should build up to where Raw and SmackDown are on high alert because you never know where this crazy clown killer is gonna, pop up next. So many levels of entertainment left and done with him before we ever see him in the ring. That's just my opinion. If I was a part of this creative crew, that's what I would suggest.
And you know what, Bully? Like, they're putting time and money into this. Remember how you were saying with the build with Braun Strowman, they were sacrificing garbage trucks and ambulances and building up Braun Strowman to be strong? Then they kind of lost their way after a while. But with Bray Wyatt, I mean, to hire a Tom Savini to do this mask, that means they're really putting a lot of time, effort, and money into it. So if you're going to put that kind of effort into something, see it through. So I really have a little confidence that they're going to probably do the right thing when it comes to Bray Wyatt this time around.
I agree. They are fully investing in this this gimmick, this new character, this change of character, and it speaks worlds to how much confidence the WWE has in Bray Wyatt. As we talked about last time I was on the show, this is not an easy character to pull off. They have to have a lot of confidence in you that you can do this, and he proved himself with the entire, initial Bray character. I think he's going to do really, really well with this. It's just a question of how they're going to build up. Eventually, he has to wrestle. We know that. But if they can hold off on the wrestling, we've seen him in these creepy segments. So we can assume that he filmed this in his Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
But when he shows up to the arena, man, I would be able to handle 10 weeks of build-up of where you never know where this guy is going to show up next. And people are disappearing, and first it's a stagehand, then it's one of the guys driving the ring truck, and then it's a referee, and people are, like the places. It's like something out of a scary movie, where people are just disappearing left and right. We don't know what happened to them. And then maybe one time the lights go on and off in the arena, and we just see the clown for a split second, and then we don't see him. Anything that keeps the build on this crazy maniacal character.
And again, they're giving you a reason to tune into Monday Night Raw every week. I mean, listen, even the last couple weeks when Raw was pretty bad, let's face it, we still had the Firefly Funhouse. And that's still what we were talking about coming out of the show. And that was definitely a segment that excites us. So that's definitely something that we're going to be looking at over the next couple weeks. And with the Busted Open Nation, I want to hear, what did you think of Firefly Funhouse? What did you think of Bray Wyatt? What's the future of Bray Wyatt? But more importantly, Bully, when we come back, let's break down Monday Night Raw from last night. Because I don't think the Firefly Funhouse was the only good thing about what we saw over those next 3 hours. It was a go-home show before Money in the Bank. And Bully and I will break it down when we're back right here on Busted Open.
Body slams, power bombs, and pile drivers. It's pro wrestling. We have you covered. This is Busted Open on Sirius XM Fight Nation. The Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race at Charlotte.
Oh, he's way sideways in turn one.
Saturday at 5:30 Eastern on Sirius XM. All-Star, no points, and a $1 million payday for the winner. All the stars come out at night.
Jimmy Johnson, who do we got? Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr.
And the night belongs to SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, and streaming on your phone and at home on SiriusXM connected devices and speakers. I'm not a shock jock.
It's Shine On Sports.
I only say what I believe. Hi, this is Adam Shine, host of Shine On Sports on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 82. I love sports. I live for sports.
Shine On Sports.
If you live for the games, the best guests, strong opinions. If you love the social issues that affect sports, you need to listen to Shine On Sports.
Shine On Sports. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Titans, go!
When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely.
Hollywood, here we come!
To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly. We're finally on the big screen.
Have a seat, my dude.
For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Gotcha. That's a wise move.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Driving means freedom,
Exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility, connection, friendship, escape,
independence,
Distracted driving means danger,
recklessness,
irresponsible,
chaos, police, devastating
fear, death. Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
This is WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray. Catch me on Busted Open weekdays at 9 to noon Eastern on your home for pro wrestling, Sirius XM Fight Nation.
Motherfucker. Upgrade to Dish and take your home TV anywhere. No matter where you are, with the Dish Anywhere app, you can stream live satellite TV, watch everything on your DVR, and choose from thousands of on-demand movies on the go. Enjoy your favorite shows and the most popular movies with just your phone, tablet, or computer, even if you aren't able to be in the comfort of your own home. Upgrade to Dish for better technology, better customer service, and a better TV experience. The Dish Anywhere app. Just one more reason Dish stays tuned in to you. Watching TV anywhere requires internet-connected Hopper with Sling or Hopper 3 incompatible device. To learn more, dial 1-844-CALL-DISH or visit dish.com. Dish, tuned in to you.
Oh, yeah.
Back here on Busted Open, Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray. You know what they call this, Bully?
What?
Me and my friends used to call this Kiss Cheese.
It is a little cheesy. Kiss has a couple cheesy tunes.
Yeah, this is what we would call Kiss Cheese. Not saying it's bad, but it's definitely Kiss Cheese.
Not exactly a song I have on my repeat list.
I actually have it on my like list. Turn on the night time.
Sorry, not on board with this one. Nah. It's cool. It's poppy. I can bounce my head.
Oh,
I'm not going out of my way to listen.
This is definitely poppy.
Yeah. Pop this.
I like that. I like too. I'll give you $1. A nice shiny new if you can tell me what album this is off of.
Crazy Night.
I owe you $1. Good job.
Thank you very much. I might not listen to it all the time, but I know what it's from.
You do,
so
you know.
I want a Susan B. Anthony, a nice, bright, shiny Susan B. Anthony, $1.
Yes, because I can't give you a George Washington $1 because it's not going to be shiny.
You said shiny, so
I did. I got to give you Susan B. All right,
Susan B. That frolic.
Little harlot Susan.
Susan B. Anthony was a harlot.
There's some history professor right now listening to the show saying, "Damn that LaGreca!" She was pure as snow, that Susan B.
Little did you know. Anyway, speaking of Harley.
All right, so we talked about Bray Wyatt. Obviously, Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse have been segments that we've enjoyed over the last few weeks, even though we may not have enjoyed all of Monday Night Raw. Listen, I thought this was an important show for the WWE last night. Now, there was things against them. They're coming off 2 really bad weeks. And also, it's a tape show overseas. That's hard for the WWE. You know how it is with a tape show, and there's spoilers out there, and it's really difficult to do anything that's kind of like news breaking or shocking when you're under that kind of, you know, a little bit of a handicap for them. But I thought they did a really good job, and it was important for them to do that, Bully, because it's also a go-home show to what I think is a pretty important pay-per-view for the WWE. Money in the Bank, to me, is one of the top pay-per-views of the year for them. So they needed to have a good effort. I thought they had a good effort last night across the board.
There were definitely segments of the show last night that stood out to me. We got some good wrestling. I mean, the show opened up with a good tag match. I liked what the girls did in the 4-way. I liked Becky, Charlotte, and Lacey. Mm-hmm. I liked that segment. I liked Mysterio versus Cesaro. There were good things that stood out to me about the show. I think it just lacked flow and rhythm for me. Like, I think I got served this, and then I got served this, and then I got served this. It's kind of like when I watch Raw, I like it to be like a concert. I like one thing to lead into the other, and I always compare it to Raws from 20 years ago, and how one thing blended into the next. And I think they're trying to do that, but like, here was something odd last night, Dave. Mm-hmm. So remember right before, and I think they did this twice. They did it with AJ, and they did it with Seth. And they had that newer lady, the blonde lady, the backstage announcer. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, she's from NXT, yeah.
Okay, so it's like they go to break. You see AJ speaking to the blonde girl. And they're like, up next, we're getting AJ Styles. And then they come back, and then she's like, ladies and gentlemen, my guest, AJ Styles. And then he jumps into frame. Well, you just went to commercial, and you were standing next to each other. Did he jump out of the frame and then back into the frame? Little things like that are a disconnect for me. I would much prefer them come back to Monday Night Raw with them right there speaking. Like I said, it's just little things that disconnect me at times. But for the majority of the show, I was engaged. And like I said, I really liked the Bray Wyatt stuff, and I liked the stuff that the ladies did.
You know what? It's funny you said that, because that's something that Mark Henry always preaches when it comes to some of the deficiencies with Monday Night Raw, is the flow of the show. And you mentioned about like the Attitude Era, everything seemed to flow nicely. For Monday Night Raw, especially since the show is 3 hours and there's certain things that they have to showcase, I would have to say it's kind of difficult for that flow. Let me ask you this. When you watch Monday Night Raw, is it too sometimes formulaic for your taste?
I don't like anything in wrestling that feels formulaic. I like, I'm a fan of the Wild Wild West kind of show. And that's why Raws from 20 years ago worked for me. If you wanted to compare apples to apples, if you went and you watched a Monday Night Raw from 20 years ago last night, you would see a completely different show. Forget about the characters. Let's not compare characters to characters. I'm talking about the way the show flows and the excitement of the show and the way the show builds. And everything kind of has you hooked. Raw doesn't feel that way anymore. I can see what they're doing by they're trying to use the hook. They're trying to use the hook of, well, here's AJ Styles at the end of a segment, and now we're going to go to a commercial break, and hopefully people will stay there because we just saw AJ Styles, as opposed to, years ago, your hook was the excitement of the show. Because the show started so exciting and it built to a level of excitement, emotionally, you sat through the commercials and you didn't mind because you had to see what happens next. Does that make sense to you?
No, it does. And one thing that we did on our show yesterday, Bully, is we kind of wanted answers. So obviously we haven't been satisfied with Monday Night Raw. So we wanted the nation to kind of give us their ideas on how the show could be better and what are the things that are really bothering you about the show. And one of the things that a lot of callers called up and mentioned was about the commercial breaks. You can kind of predict when a commercial break is about to happen. Not only from segment to segment, Bully, but from within a match. You know when both wrestlers are outside the ring that they're going to throw to a break. When you can predict a commercial break within a match, that's a very serious problem to me.
And I think that's that's one of the things that AEW has gone on the record about immediately. They said we're never going to go to a commercial break during a match. And I think right off the bat, that's a great idea. And if you're in the middle of a match, going to commercial? I mean, this is not rocket science, but we've been seeing it for so long. But why does it bother us now, Dave? They've been going to commercial breaks during matches for eons. Why all of a sudden is it a thing?
Well, I think because of what I just said, you can predict when they're going to.
But they for so long. Was it not predictable 3 years ago, but it's predictable now?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I just think that with anything, Bully, things need to evolve, things need to change, and with Monday Night Raw, with certain things, and certain things that we don't like as fans, they don't seem to be changing it. So, you also too, Bully, and I would think that any kind of episodic TV show is going to do this as well, you're going to have a new fan base over the last couple of years that just don't understand it. You're probably getting a lot of fans that grew up watching NBA and Major League Baseball and football, and like you're only going to get a break in the action when there's a timeout, when there is no action. So it's kind of frustrating that like there's no timeout, it's not before or after a match, but during a match while there's action that they're going to a break. And the fact that too, Bully, you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, when you're watching Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor, and like you mentioned with AEW, that doesn't happen as much or as glaring than it does when it happens on a Monday Night Raw.
That's because the WWE has the luxury of having so many people that want to advertise with them, and they have a certain amount of commercial breaks. Basically, they have a gun to their head. They have to take commercial breaks. There are so many breaks within an hour that they have to do, and they are a slave, to the network. I mean, every once in a while, I think the WWE has presented matches uninterrupted. Remember when we got, I think, Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin, 1 hour uninterrupted?
Yeah, they had it uninterrupted with no commercial breaks.
Right, so I'm sure that the rest of the show was, marred by commercial breaks. But,
well, let me ask you this, Bully. Why don't they do like they do on SmackDown? On SmackDown, they go into this, they have the small picture of the match. You can still see the match taking place, but, they're in a commercial, so you still continue to see the action.
It's a great idea. I have no idea why they don't do it. Why is it good for one show and not good for the other? Maybe they're saying, well, it makes SmackDown look different. Well, actually, I prefer if Raw copied exactly what you're doing on SmackDown because it worked. There are many times, and I gotta tell you, when matches are being planned, it's called the break spot. Instead of a high spot, it's called a break spot. And it's that moment where, in a match, you have to go to break. And normally, I'll just give you my take on it, for instance. Normally, I always wanted to go to a break spot with the crowd as excited as we could possibly get them, or as in peril as we can possibly get them. Most of the time, it was in peril, because I hated going to break at the highest of the highs. But if I was let's say that we were in a 6-man match and The Rock was our partner, it's okay to go to break on the highest of the highs, because with The Rock there, you knew that people were going to come back. If it was a regular tag team match, let's say against the Hardys, I always want to go to a break with Jeff in peril. So as a fan, you're like, oh my God, Jeff is in trouble. I want to see if he's coming back. There's a whole, there's a psychology to going to break. These days, it feels like they're going, okay, as soon as we go to the floor, that's the break spot.
Yes.
And there definitely is a tire too many of them. And I guess what your point is, let's take my point and your point. My point is, it's been going on forever. Your point is, it's almost the same exact thing every single week.
Yes. Like I don't even need to have the sound on my TV. I can tell visually exactly when they're about to go to break. That's a problem.
Yes, it's becoming formulaic. It's becoming habitual. You can call the spot. I get what you're saying.
Yep. 877-344-4893. 877-FIGHT-93. What did you think of Monday Night Raw last night? Did they do enough to sell you on Money in the Bank coming up on Sunday? And boy, when we come back, there's a certain relationship in the WWE that has me very intrigued. I'll tell you what that relationship is when Bully and I are back right here.
What's up? What's happening on Sirius XM Sports?
Sirius XM NBA Radio is getting you ready for the 2019 Draft Lottery all day long, including live reaction after the results tonight. Then it's Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Golden State Warriors and Portland Trailblazers. All on your home for the NBA.
What's up,
Sirius 207 XM 86 and the Sirius XMS.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.